Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I would like to talk about this phone right here. This is the Mate 20X by Huawei and I recently unboxed it, and today I'm here to talk about the cameras on the back and on the front. Now, there are three cameras on the back. All three of them are made by Leica. One of them is a 40 megapixel camera, and that is the regular camera. Then there's an 8 megapixel telephoto camera and a 20 megapixel wide angle camera. The front camera, on the other hand, is at 24 megapixels. Today, I would like to talk about all the photos, all the functionality of the camera, and compare it to the iPhone XS. But if you're excited for this video, then you know what to do. Leave a like and subscribe. It's all greatly appreciated. Now let's get into the video. First of all, let's look at the different options you have for photos on the Mate 20X. You have regular mode. This is where the phone does everything for you and automatically adjusts all your settings for the perfect picture. Then you have portrait mode, which is exactly what it sounds like. You can make beautiful portraits of people, and here you can adjust the shutter speed and the ISO, but for those who don't know how to use that, you can still keep auto. Then you have night mode. This is pretty much for all dark environments or if you want to shoot at night. You can adjust the shutter speed and the ISO, but for those that don't know how to do that, you can keep it on auto. Then you have aperture mode. This mode will give you that beautiful background blur. You can set up the level from 0.95 to 16, with the lower aperture being the better background blur and the higher aperture being the lower background blur. And then for the professionals, which, not the professionals, but the people who know what they're doing with cameras. So you can pretty much adjust anything you want on the camera to take the best picture. You can set the focus points, you can adjust the ISO going way up, you can set the shutter speed, you can set the EV, better known as exposure, here, and set anywhere between these. You can go from autofocus to manual focus, and you can adjust the white balance. For more settings, you can select the settings icon and more options, where here you can set the resolution, you can add a timer, you can have images in the RAW format, and way much more. This leads us to the more section. This is where you have other options, and there are options like super macro, panorama, and a bunch of these things. You can also scan documents by selecting the option here. Very cool. I think we covered everything here. On the other hand, the iPhone doesn't have as many functions. You don't have any sort of manual mode, and you have no control over your photos. Keep in mind that the iPhone XS has two cameras at 12 megapixel versus Huawei's 40 megapixel, and has a wide angle camera and a telephoto camera. The front camera is at 7 megapixels versus Huawei's 24 megapixels. Very fun. Now I would like to show you some images from the iPhone XS and the Huawei Mate 20X and just see which one performs better. We're gonna start with this regular picture. Take a look at it. This one's a portrait picture. Moving on, a panorama photo. Then we have an aperture photo with a great background blur, manual, which is only on the Huawei, and here are the night pictures. I hope you liked these. Let's take a look at selfies. Selfie time, what do you say? Here we go. This will be a good comparison as both phones have the same options. You can only make selfies on two modes, the regular and portrait. They're both on the iPhone XS and on Huawei. However, Huawei's camera is way better on the front than Apple's. Let's see what we see. Let's look at this regular photo and this portrait photo. As you saw the pictures now, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to know which one you actually like. Either the iPhone XS pictures or the Huawei pictures. I personally find that the iPhone pictures are way more vivid and the Huawei pictures are way more natural. That is at least what I think in all the pictures. The panorama also is really good on the Huawei. It doesn't make you go like 360 like on the iPhone, so I guess that's based on preference, but I really like it on the Huawei. Then the selfies, the portrait on the iPhone on the selfie mode is way better than on Huawei, my opinion again, and the regular photo is about the same. This begs the question, which phone would I recommend the camera on? It depends based on what you actually like. So this phone is at 7.2 inches, so if you're really into making pictures on a regular basis, then get the 7.2 inch screen and get this camera. You can always go back, turn on RAW, edit the pictures in a software if you need to adjust the colors, but at least you see what you're actually shooting versus this 5.8 inch phone where it's way harder to see what you're shooting, even though that the phone does a better job on auto mode. So this is really something that I would recommend for the people who have been taking pictures for a while now and know what they're doing. Anyway, this is the end of the video, so if you enjoyed this one or have any other questions, then just leave it in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!